Palworld has just released a huge patch with massive changes from fixing player issues, updates to PAL work speed, breeding, fixing some really big base issues, and some secret changes that weren't intended or mentioned in the patch notes, so let's get started. What's up everyone, Greymane here, back with another Palworld video. Today we're going to go over the latest patch update which released yesterday for Xbox Game Pass and Steam, and I can confirm it is live on both platforms. There's some really big changes with the focus being on bug fixes, along with some balance issues that have been addressed and new secret updates not included in the patch notes later on in the video, so make sure to watch to the end before you end up wasting all of your PAL eggs. First up, there has been a major fix implemented for backing up save data on the world screen, and they've resolved an issue where unnecessary data was accumulating in save data. I'm not entirely sure what this is about, but it probably has something to do with the game creating excessive folders and files and reducing the overall file sizes. If you know more, let me know in the comments. They've made changes to allow guild members to be removed when they're offline, which is a nice little quality of life change. Another change is the toggle button, which they've added under options to allow you to craft without holding the button down and simply pressing it once. However, you will have to re-toggle on if you are crafting multiple items. They've fixed an issue where riding in prohibited hunting areas such as the sanctuaries wouldn't result in a crime. This is now working as intended. And they've also improved the accuracy with adjacent objects, which means less accidental clicks on things you weren't planning to touch. Some changes to PALs have been implemented, including when a PAL is instructed to attack aggressively, it will no longer only attack PALs in combat, but everything within its range, regardless of whether it's combat or not. This isn't too much of a problem late game, but make sure your PALs are set to passive if you've just started playing, otherwise your chickpea is going to attack the giant mammoth at the start of the game and you're going to have a bad day. Rank 1 or higher PALs can now be selected as concentrated material to upgrade your PALs at the PAL condenser and will give a greater value than normal PALs, which means you will need less PALs overall when using higher rank PALs to rank up. They've fixed a bug where large amounts of XP gain cause PAL levels to increase to 50 without actually learning active skills. PALs will now learn their active skills normally as intended when leveling up. Massandra's partner skill was causing dungeon bosses to get stuck in walls, which wasn't very fun, so if you dungeon crawlers will be pleased to know this has been fixed. What I really want to know is how everyone is getting a giant panda into dungeons in the first place. There has been a lot of changes to base issues, starting with PALs getting stuck on top of logging sites and stone quarries or roofs and walls. This was a huge problem which would cause PALs to get sick, hungry and do no work, but they have fixed this and I haven't noticed my PALs getting stuck since. Another massive issue has been fixed where base PALs would get stuck when transporting. You'd see the light bulb icon repeatedly on their head, but they'd just stand there doing absolutely nothing. Incredibly frustrating if you have a mining base like me, and I am so glad Pocket Pair has fixed this. They've also addressed the issue with PALs getting stuck in the farm, on a roof, and the PAL box summon space when entering a base or restarting on a dedicated server. The default work priority for base PALs has been adjusted. PALs will now prioritize manual labor over other work, meaning your Anubis will now farm ore instead of constantly digging stones in the quarry if there is an ore node available. This was a huge issue if you wanted to have all of your resources in a single base, as logging sites and quarries meant your PALs would never farm any other resources in that area. Building restrictions have been adjusted for stairs and triangular roofs, so these should be much easier to build. And the annoying infinite sound loop has been fixed when PALs used active skills in the base. And finally, base temperatures now stack, which means if you put 4 campfires next to each other, your base temperature will be like that of the volcano area found in the south side of the map. Some balance adjustments have been made, including a buff for Digtoise. Previously, Digtoise wasn't the best PAL to use for mining or as a base PAL, but with the update, the turtle can finally be the very best like no one ever was, at least for mining. His mining speed is now absolutely insane, especially if you stack all the work passive traits and rank him up to level 4. For those of you selling nails for profit, sadly there is some bad news, as this has been corrected and nails no longer sell for a ridiculous amount at the vendor. The number of PIDF officers when committing a crime has been increased, and they've also added an electric shock effect to the PAL Alliance crossbows. High quality hot springs will now recover more sanity for PALs, which will lead to less PALs taking breaks and getting sick from bad working conditions. And finally, let's move on to the secret changes that weren't actually included in the patch notes. First up, they've fixed the glitch where you were able to catch tower bosses after gaining the wanted status. This was quite popular as tower bosses have unobtainable skills which players were breeding onto other PALs after using the glitch to capture them. Sadly, this is no longer doable and it wasn't something they intended to fix fix and just ended up accidentally fixing when they were addressing other issues. I know I mentioned earlier that pals with higher ranks used in the pal condenser as material will give a greater value. However, what they haven't mentioned is that if you use a higher rank pal, such as a rank 4 pal, as material, this counts as 64 pals, which means it will gain you a full rank on its own regardless of whether the pal you're upgrading is rank 1, 2, 3 or 4. Make sure you use this to upgrade your pals from rank 3 to 4 only, as it will not give you any additional value below this rank. If you use a rank 4 pal to upgrade another pal from rank 0 to rank 1 for example, which only requires 4 points, you will waste 60 points which you would have gained from using that rank 4 pal as material. The pal work rate default setting has changed. There is now a new relax mode on the work monitor stand, which now is the default setting. So what you'll have to do is actually change this if you've noticed your pal work speed has dropped significantly at your base. And lastly, we actually have a bug which they're going to revert, and they're going to confirm this, but certain pals like Anubis, Lylene, Yormantide, Orsurk and Blazemut come with guaranteed passive traits such as Lylene with Spirit Emperor, Blazemut with Flame Emperor or Anubis with Earth Emperor. You get the picture. For some of you this might be a good thing, but if you're trying to breed pals with certain passives, then I would suggest holding on to your eggs for now before hatching them, as this trait is currently guaranteed to be passed on to them. Eggs you have bred before the patch might be okay, but any new eggs you breed will have this passive trait. Although I can't confirm this, so let me know in the comments if you know more. And that's everything for this patch update. Once again, drop a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.